Hi everyone, it's the EnglishSimmer here, and The Sims 4 might have just got an emergency patch, but turns out it could actually need another one very, very soon, because with the release of Crystal Creations, this has actually, created a lot of big bugs, so I want to talk about them in today's video. I unfortunately didn't pick up on these bugs, throughout my early access. However, after playing, for a longer stint, and not just focusing, on the specific, video points that I was focusing on, I have seen at least one of these actually within my game. There are also a couple of workarounds for some of these, which is also why I wanted to make this video, especially for those of you who don't have Twitter and aren't really seeing these things. I obviously want to keep my community as updated as possible. First off, we have this one right here, which isn't just caused by the pack. Even if you don't have Crystal Creations, this is actually still affecting people's games. I'm gonna say this is actually the biggest bug right now because it can very much have knock-on effects for a lot of different players. This is what modders are most concerned about. It's what the actual heroes on the EA help forums, the Answers HQ, are most concerned about, because this actually knocks a ton of stuff out. So this is actually your moodlets disappearing. So what this means is you'll be playing your game, obviously you have the little emotion system, and once you then save and exit your game, when you come back into that save, some of the buffs and moodlets will actually be knocked out. Most of these are timed moodlets, so that means the teen phases in parenthood, even pregnancies I've seen maybe could be affected by this. I haven't fully tested that within my game, but I think I might for the purpose of this video, so you lot can see, because obviously pregnancy is such a big part of The Sims and how people play this game. This issue affects any buffs that aren't tied to traits, statistics, or sim info. Basically, any buff that gets added via a loot. Lumpino is actually an incredible modder here in the Sims 4 community and has basically talked about this with other modders. It affects all temporary commodity buffs, EAs, and mods. So this is also going to throw out people's mods, especially if you have mods that give you custom moodlets. It's not only a cosmetic problem. Now, when I first saw this, I was like, you know what, the emotion system isn't my favorite. It flip-flops an awful lot. I don't think it's the strongest system that we have within the game, and it kind of just annoys me a little bit now because it's so oversaturated. But turns out, obviously, this can really affect your game. They do not run due to this if a player saved and exited before the buff expiration. It also classes for fears, so being judge tracker lasts for 2,160 sim hours, close to 2 days, and then removes the tracker bit of the fear. This will be broken and you will just constantly have that fear of being judged. So the moodlet won't be there, but it will still be applied to your sim, which means that you obviously cannot remove it because that's kind of all hidden under the game's coding. Kryn, who is one of the heroes over on the EA Answers HQ, has actually said, I would not play legacy saves at the minute. There could be more issues that haven't surfaced yet, and the moodlet issue is breaking saves. We don't currently know as simmers if once this bug is actually fixed, it's then gonna reapply those buffs to sims and you'll be able to see them and then your game will be fine, or if it's gonna have knock-on consequences. So definitely be wary. Try and hold off playing the saves that you really care about and you've dedicated a lot of time to. Still trying to understand everything, how to talk with some modders. Saves can break if you saved your game after moodlets disappeared, but only with a few moodlets. Again, all of these volunteers are really trying to get to the bottom of this and suggest the outcomes for players that is the best for saving those save files. I personally don't think I'm going to be playing my short lifespan legacy. Obviously, that got hit with the age reverting bug back when high school years came out, and I almost lost that save file back then. I don't want to risk losing it a second time over, so unfortunately I think that's going to be on hold on the channel for a little bit. However, if you are having this issue and mods are actually available to you, whilst we wait for an official fix, which is hopefully coming sometime soon, TurboDriver has actually created a mod that fixes this issue issue. Any moodlet with a timer, visible or invisible, would permanently disappear after you save and quit the game. Many moodlets are critical for features for the game to function correctly. You can download a small fix mod that will bring back save moodlets and keep them after saving. Just place the script mod into your mods folder and you're done. Unfortunately, this is only available to those of you who can download mods. Also, do keep in mind, obviously, there was the whole issue with some mods actually having malware attached to them. I haven't really heard too much on that, update-wise on how it's currently looking in the modding community, but I would suggest also, if you can, downloading Twisted Mexie's mod guard, which basically is a system that when you boot up your game, it actually checks to see if any of the malicious viruses or malware has actually tried to run in your game, and it just stops it from doing that. It's basically an antivirus for your Sims 4. So I would definitely suggest downloading this alongside Turbo Drivers. I'm not trying to say that Turbo Drivers is infected or anything, but basically just to keep your game that little bit safer. She has eating for two. Second trimester will start in 24 hours. It's a timed moodlet. We also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 6 confident and then 2 fine and bored. But we are going to exit game. I'm going to save and exit. All the other ones disappeared, but her pregnancy is still there. I automatically assumed when I read the moodlet thing that being pregnant was going to be classed as sim info, because they'd basically be tagged as pregnant even though it is technically a timer one. Now I have only tested this once, so this isn't the be all and end all, I haven't ran significant tests, I haven't got to different trimesters, but that does prove that all the other confident moodlets, the 8 that she had, did disappear. And just to test it, because I did get up to the last trimester, the 3rd trimester, where it just says give birth in question mark, we are gonna save and exit again. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna save here and then I'm gonna save and exit. I don't know if that was gonna make a difference, but we didn't do that last time, so let's do it this time and I will report back. Pregnancy is still there, so that's twice I've tried it, 2 different moodlets, which makes me think potentially pregnancy could be okay, and that being sim information that I thought it was may be accurate, but also it could honestly disappear at any moment. Let's be real, we don't actually know how this bug works, so I'm still gonna say be very hesitant about that. I personally don't think I would risk it. If I wanted my sim to be pregnant, I'd probably play through the whole thing and not save and exit and leave my game and then hop back into it, just because you don't know what risk you're running. Now onto one of the glitches that I have personally seen and I actually tested out on my stream last night. I had a teenager wear and remove jewelry and it changed their body shape, and I don't mean slightly changed their body shape, they became a whole new sim. It's kind of reminiscent of the bug that we got with Sims losing teeth and then aging up into a teenager and looking completely different. It kind of has the same vibe of that. A couple of people have said that it only happened on teenage Sims. I actually looked at my sim closer after last night's stream and it definitely wasn't just teenage Sims, and it was actually the adult life stage. I think young adult is the safest right now, but do not quote me on that, because obviously people are kind of testing this as it opens up more and more, and we're discovering more information just as simmers as we play the game. I was playing as Diego Lobo. Originally he was a young adult, then I did change him to adult, so I don't know when the changes in his body frame actually started to happen, which is unfortunate, but I was having him try on jewelry and things like that he was making. I was obviously having him wear it for the buffs, and do you see how his hips and this slider in particular has shifted? So this is what he looked like originally, this is how I created him, and then this is actually what he looked like after he had worn and taken off jewelry. A lot of people have been saying it only happens on feminine frames. That is not the truth. It might be maybe for them in their game, obviously not everyone sees every bug, but it is also happening on masculine frames because it happened to my Diego Lobo. And then obviously people were saying that it was really affecting teenagers more so like really any other age range within the game. So I created 2 teenagers. Again, we have Diego. I definitely like push this. I had them try on and take off jewelry an awful lot within my game. Like I want to say I did it upwards of like maybe like 10-15 times, but even the first time I did it, you could see it slightly change. So this happens all within gameplay. I went from that sim to this sim. Their jaw has shifted, their body has shifted, their eyes have got further apart. Like it's completely changing the way that a sim looks and their facial features and also their body frame. Now obviously you can always hop back into create a sim and like play around with this, but this should not be happening. This was affected by all of the jewelry as well, so it wasn't just like a necklace. I was trying on and taking off all pieces and this was my end result. And then it also was happening on my feminine framed teenager, maybe even more so dramatically on her, and I probably did have her do it like a fair few times. Like I probably could have pushed him a little bit further. I did notice on a feminine adult frame, it was actually like moving their chest up and down, but I feel like that was more to accommodate for like the necklace and the way that it sat. But then going back to look at Diego as an adult, you can also see how his chest has lowered. So like this slider right here has actually like seemed to move. So I would say for right now, try not to like take on and off your jewelry a lot, or just don't wear it in general, which sounds ridiculous to say because obviously this is Crystal Creations. It's all about changing like powers and having different things available to your sim after they have created jewelry. I would say like still make jewelry and sell it like if you want to explore the pack, but definitely try to avoid like taking jewelry on and off if you don't want it changing your sims. Specifically, don't do this if you have like a dedicated save file that you've worked really hard on and you don't want your sims to change the way they look. If you are going to play with this, just start it in a fresh save that you don't really care about, that's just basically used as like a tester save. I've seen some people ask if it's just in Create a Sim. No, it happens within gameplay. So we have a teenager right here. I'm gonna have her wear that bracelet with all outfits. Did you see that already? Her chin has shifted, like it's already moved. Every time you put something on, you can kind of see, it's annoying because she's not facing like straight on, but you can see after the spin, like the body shifts and also the chin will start to move. So then if we remove all the jewelry, you can kind of see it getting more and more progressive. She's changed like drastically in like the what, like 10 times that we did that maybe. Absolutely wild to witness with our own eyes. And like I said, it's not just teenagers, it is everyone bar I think young adults, but it could even potentially be happening with young adults. Then there are a couple of other bugs which are like less game breaking and obviously don't have as much of a knock-on effect as like changing your Sims genetics and also the moodlet deleting, but we're gonna go over a couple of them. This is one that I personally noticed within my game. This is apparently an issue that has been around with Get to Work for ages when it comes to retail lots, and that is when you place objects out in the open, set them to sale. If you then like stop the sale and then go back home, the items that you placed will then go back to your Sim's inventory, like actually their personal inventory, and they will leave the shop. So that kind of disrupts like all of the layout that you had of all of those objects, and every single time you want to then sell things in a retail store, you're gonna have to drag it back out of your inventory and you're gonna have to set up the displays all over again. However, someone did actually say that there is a workaround for this. Place a storage box on the retail lot, place the items you want to sell in the box, leave the retail lot, then return to the lot, open the storage and drag the items out and then set them for sale. It remains on the retail lot after current household Sims leave. So it kind of like overrides the function where it like snaps back to your Sim. There's a couple of issues that people are having with like Sims info panels. So this is obviously when you go into the relationships and then you like open their panel up to like learn more about them. This This one is actually showing incorrect woohoo interests on the Sims profile. I learned the woohoo interest of a Sim who is interested in woohoo with women, but when opening their profile, it shows that the Sim is interested in woohoo with nobody. There's this one which is affecting secrets. Discover a secret of a Sim, open their profile from the relationship tabs. Game doesn't pause as it normally does if you open the profile of a Sim who has a secret revealed. The audio then bugs out and plays music over live mode and is only fixed when we're relaunching the game. I've had that music issue like a fair few times in my game, like for the past, I want to say, at least a year. This is kind of showing that the game just isn't paused. Like, it's brought up the Sims profile, but everything else around it usually goes like grayed out, and this time you can like see everything. Some people have noticed that they actually can't give gifts anymore, which kind of isn't surprising because obviously they did like a new gift to interaction when it came to Crystal Creations. So unfortunately that seems to be having like a knock-on effect of people not being able to give gifts of other like handmade stuff. I've personally seen this in my comments of my videos. This person said that if there is a painting in their inventory, their Sim can't give gifts to other Sims or to animals. Kryn has actually said known objects in the inventory to cause this are any kind of food in your inventory, which is so annoying because I feel like my Sims have food in their inventory literally all of the time, and also like any painting within the game. And finally, it's also affecting being able to give food from inventory to toddlers. Now, I personally never use this one. I will always just get leftovers. I'll drag them out onto a surface within my game and then I'll let the toddler help themselves. So that's kind of a little workaround. There is also a bug that is causing a game to crash when you actually have stacked items of like collections. Right now, that would be lightsabers from Journey to Batu. It would be wands and brooms, both from Realm of Magic. So anything that has a little stacked icon as you're scrolling through your inventory, sometimes your games will crash. They've said the best way to deal with that is to drag like individually the items out of your inventory if you can before it crashes. Save every single time you drag one out and like try and get through them all that way, because the stacks is what's causing the crash. Which also means that I can't play my all collections challenge because Eloise has a bunch of stacks in her inventory right now because, like I said, we're trying to beat every single collection. So I mean, take your pick. Take your pick of what bug you want to witness in your game. I'm sorry that I didn't happen to pick these up in early access. Like, early access for stuff packs is quite short. It's a lot shorter, obviously, than the early access we get with expansions. If you are suffering from any of these bugs or glitches, the best thing that you can do is head to the EA HQ, like Answers HQ. I have linked all of these like over on my Twitter. I'll also link a bunch of them down below to the threads. Me too, the issues, because that shows how many people are actually having the problem. And then also, if you can like actually give details about the bugs that you are having and kind of what you think has inflicted it, whether you're playing with or without mods, because the more information they have, then obviously the easier it is for them to see what is actually affecting that. Hopefully we can get some fixes soon, specifically for like the really bug ones. Like laundry lists are all well and good for like the smaller issues, but the fact that some of these could have like real knock-on effects and we don't really know how they're going to affect our save files or our games in the future is a little bit scary at the moment. Best advice I can give right now is try not to touch the saves that you really care about, because you don't want to compromise them. But thank you all so much for tuning in. Hopefully I can follow this video up with a nice little like tweet and a nice little community post being like, hey, emergency patch out now. Hopefully it's gonna fix these things, which is so annoying on top of everything, because we literally just got like the really big issues with for rent fixed with this latest patch, but now it's just added like a load more issues. But I appreciate you all tuning in, and I will speak to you all in my next one. Bye now.